only one people. You go globally, are known as different names. We the same people in different lands with different nicknames. All right, now. So are we supposed to keep the law? Absolutely. Right now. I'm going to play the video in a minute. Now, let's go back to Exodus 19, where I was going to start. And verse 1 through 5 is 1 through 6. I always say 1 through 5. I don't know why I say 1 through 5. It's 1 through 6. All right. In the third month, when the children of Israel were going forth out of the land of Mizraim, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. Something I thought about this. And I think I talked about that, but I thought about that this week. In the third month, when they came out of Israel, right? That third month is the month of Shabbat. It's interesting because when you think about it, right? Shabbat is the fire feast. And we talked about the burnt offerings, right? Yah gave the law, right, to burn out the flesh in the third month. He said, I'm going to take you to the feast of Shabbat, and you're going to get the law that's going to burn out the flesh. By the deeds of the law, right, shall no flesh be justified. That's what that means. Flesh is supposed to be destroyed. Flesh is supposed to be presented as a dead man. Right? All right. For they were departed from Rephidim, were come to the desert of Sinai, pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. Moses went up unto Yah. Yah called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Israel, right? And tell the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. So you got that. We talked about that last night at the table with Maury Josiah and his Isha and my Isha, that you have anybody can be a part of the children of Israel. You don't have to be a DNA Israelite, because Israel is a people, and the people come in many forms and fashions and shapes, right? Now, there is no elimination, because that was the Most High's promise to Abraham, that I'll make your father of many nations. That's why the nation of Israel is formed, not just to be formed just for his physical seed, right? So when you go back into the law, you see that the Most High told Abraham to bring the stranger, those that's bought with money, under the covenant, right? Okay. Just a little say, Yahshua did the same thing. Yahshua bought you with his blood to bring you under the covenant, but you don't get that when you say Abraham brought people under the bonds of the covenant, right? They're all a shadow, right? Let me get back. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, how I bore on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, therefore, you will obey my voice. There it is. Obey my voice. That's what we just read. Yah was angry with Israel because Israel disobeyed his voice. But if you will obey my voice indeed, keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure to me above all people, for all the earth is mine. See that? So if you obey my voice indeed, keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure. Obey my voice, keep my covenant. Right? You can't be a peculiar treasure. Now, I'm going to say something like the late Fred Price. He was a good teacher in my book, and I've had utmost respect for Dr. Frederick K.C. Price. He said to understand what the text is saying, you got to understand what it's not saying, right? So what it's not saying that if you're under grace, you're going to be peculiar treasure. It's not saying if you don't obey me, just believe, right? All you got to do is just believe. If you just believe, then you'll be a peculiar treasure. If you just believe, then you will be above all people. If you just believe. That's not what he's saying. But he's saying, if what? If you obey, right? And keep. That's the two things. That's the reason why Israelites are quick to embrace identity, but are willing to use theological rhetoric. That's it. Oh my goodness. To denounce obeying Yah and use all kinds of excuses why we're already fulfilled in Jesus. That's crazy. So in other words, you telling me you don't have to obey Yah. Everything that you get, all you got to do is just believe, right? Even the Messiah that you say you call to just believe says that, no, I'm sorry. Let me take it back. The Messiah might have said something along that line, but I think it was Yaakov. He said, the devils believe and tremble. But they don't obey. See, you can have fear, and you can believe, oh, I believe the Bible. I believe the Yah's laws is still good. I ain't gonna keep them, right? So that's foolishness, right? So he said, if you will keep my covenant, obey my voice, and keep my covenant, then shall you be a peculiar treasure. Not by grace, right? But by being obedient unto me, and I will make you above all people, for all the earth is mine. Now, just a little note crossing in on something Geno Jennings said. He said, he made reference, he's trying to discredit. So you got to see, Satan has anointed Geno Jennings to deceive you. Wow, where'd that come from? Satan has anointed. Satan can anoint, you know. He has anointed Geno Jennings to deceive you. So Satan will use something small that he can amplify to discourage you from doing what's required, right? So he made it all about the flesh. He's right in one sense, but in the other sense, he don't know Yah's protocol. Yah said, we just read, that I will make you above all people. Right? His special treasure, right? A peculiar treasure. Look at it. A peculiar treasure. Right? What's the word there? Wealthy, shut up. Wealth, shut up. Sagula. Right? It's like African phrase to me. Above, unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Pardon me 1 second. I don't know where that came from. I felt it coming. Okay. I think that's the last one. Okay, you shall be unto me a kingdom. No, I feel that one coming. You shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a set apart nation. I knew I felt is one more. I feel one more coming. Okay, hold on a second. Pardon me 1 second. Okay, brother, sis, sorry about that. Oh man, I tell you, when you get a little older, things just have to hit you all at one time. You got to move, right? But now, so let's get back in. Okay, so now, the Most High said, he said, he's clear. He said, if you obey my voice and keep my covenant, right? And then after that, you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, right? And a set apart nation. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. So that's what the Most High is saying, right? Obey and keeping, right? So that answered the question. I answered the question already. Now we're going to progress further into this sharing, and we're going to cover the brother Pastor Mike, I think it is, Mike Holloway, and hosted by our brother Abiyah Adoniah, right? Okay, let's listen in, and I'm going to interrupt because the brother starts talking fast. Of course, I know when you're doing debate, people trying to get in what they're trying to get in, right? But fast talkers, you gotta watch fast talkers, right? That's why we take our time on our channel. Okay, let's go in.
All right, well, praise the Lord. I want to thank my friend Abaya, also the opponent, Captain, for this discussion, and I'm ready to go in. I won't spend a whole lot of preliminaries, but we are grateful for the platform, and we're ready to talk about this subject. So the question,
okay, so this is Pastor Mike Holloway
tonight is, are we still under, or should we still be keeping, and I think it's clear to make this distinction, the Mosaic law, and the answer is absolutely not. And the scriptures are not even they don't play regarding this. Is absolutely explicit and absolutely clear that we are no longer bound legalistically to the Mosaic law.
Okay, stop. So when he says we're not under the Mosaic law, what our beloved brother don't understand is that it didn't come from Moses, right? Now, just for those of you that follow, that's been on our channel, you subscribe to our channel, you tune with us on Shabbat, this is going to kind of be like repetition to you. But to those of you that have never come in contact with us, our channel, we're going to do this for you, right? So we're just going to prove to you real quick that the law is not Moses' law, right? And so we're going to show you, first we're going to go back and we're going to show you the burnt offerings, right? So you can do this. Now my itch is sneezing now. You can do this by just going to your, this is eSword X. I'm using a Apple, a Mac computer. I have a Mac Mini. Okay, so you put burnt offering, hit enter, bam. All right. Is that what I want? Hold on a second. Spell burnt, can't spell burnt right. Okay. There it is. Some kind of way I messed up. Now, the first time we see burnt offering is under Noah, right? Let's do this first. Before we go there, let's go back to Genesis. As you all know, give you a reference. Okay, we'll do that in a minute. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 3, right? Remember when Adam and Kawah disobeyed Yah, and Yah took a coat of skins, right? So I want to just point that out. Hold on a second. Let me make it real simple. Let's just put skin in there. A coat. Let's see. Wait a minute. Okay, maybe it's not. Hold on. Okay, wait a minute. I'm drawing a blank here. Wait a minute. It's in Genesis 3. Okay, let's just do that here. Let's just go and we can find it. It might be chapter 4. Okay, it's 21. Genesis 3:21. And unto Adam also and his wife did Yah make coats of skins and clothe them. So this was the Most High offering a covering. So the first offer of sacrifice was done by the Most High, right? So that didn't come. Where was Moses at? Nowhere in the picture, right? All right. Now, the second thing I want to bring out is sacrifice, right? Okay. Genesis 4:3, we see Adam, we see Cain offering and Abel offering, right? Abel offered fruit of the ground. Cain offered fruit of the ground. Abel offered the firstlings, which is first fruits. Okay, you look at the firstlings of man or beast. This is primogeniture, right? Which is firstborn, chief, right? Which is early fruit, right? So, just for the sake of it, that would be first fruits, right? If you look at first fruits, right? Let me see something real quick. I think first fruits is one word in the King James English. Let's see, first fruits. Okay, first fruits, here you go. It's Bikor, first fruits of the crop, first fruit. Okay. So this is crops. This is dealing with crops. But if you go back into what Abel did was Abel offered the firstlings, right? Which is Bikora, right? So this could be animals as well. So he offered animals, which is the first fruits of the animals, or the best, which goes in correspondence with the law about the Most High telling them not to offer a lamb that's blemished. I can't spell blemish. Okay. 12:5, your lamb shall be without blemish. A male of the first year, you shall take it out from the sheep, from your goats. All right. So without blemish. So that's what Abel did. He offered a sacrifice according to the law that was without blemish, right? That was the firstlings, right? All right, now. Okay, so you had Adam, you had the Most High offering the first sacrifice, right? Then you have Cain and Abel offerings, right? And now we're going to see the first burnt offering, where we actually see it actually really carried out under Noah in chapter 8, right? And let's see, 8 verse 20. Noah built an altar unto Yah, took every clean beast and every fowl and offered burnt offerings on the altar. See that? How did he know how to offer burnt offering? If you follow this channel, you know he learned it from who? Methuselah. And Methuselah learned it from who? Canuck or Enoch, right? Enoch taught all inhabitants of the earth the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Enoch came before Moses, so it's not the Mosaic law, because Moses just kind of gravitated to it. So if you look at 8 and 20, Noah built an altar and took every clean beast, right, and every clean fowl, right? He offered burnt offerings on the altar. So Noah knew the law as far as to clean animals. You see it right there. And how to offer them in a burnt offering, right? Now, Before that, we talked about Abraham. Abraham did a burnt offering in Genesis 22, right? 22:2. He said, "Take now my son, thy own son, Isaac, who you love, and get into the land of Moriah, and offer there a burnt offering upon the mountains which I tell you of." So Abraham offered, right? And so if you follow down to verse 23, he offered the ram, right? As a burnt offering, right? Instead of his son, right? Okay. Now, if you go to Exodus 10, right? We're showing you that this law came before Moses. Now, in Exodus 10:25, Shemaiah Torah Rabbah More Josiah. I'm going to try to start using Shemaiah instead of Moshe. Okay. We talked about that on the phone. Shemaiah said, and where does the name Shemaiah come from? It says that in the book of Jasher, right? His name was Shemaiah. Okay. Shemaiah said, "Thou must give us also sacrifices and burnt offering, that we may sacrifice unto Yah." So that's now if you look at that 10 and 25, right? This is before he was given the commandments. Moshe, now in the previous session, we learned that Moshe learned about the law, statutes, and sacrifices from his father-in-law, who was a Midianite, who was a descendant of Abraham through his wife Keturah, right? So the law of Moses is a misnomer, because it wasn't Moses' law. Moses brought it to the nation, but it was the first time the law was brought to, and I take that back, under Canuck, he did bring the law to the nation, so it wasn't the first time. Okay, so why do they call it the law of Moshe? Because he was the chief speaker of the nation of Israel. That's why. Okay, Shemaiah. All right. So when, after the plagues, Shemaiah told Pharaoh, right? Pharaoh said, "I'm going to let you go. All right, you can go." Pharaoh called to Shemaiah, said, "Go and serve Yah. Only let your flocks, your herds be stayed. No, don't take all your flocks and all your herds. Let them stay, because we're going to need keep our agricultural business going. We need to keep our markets alive," right? So what did he say? He said, so Shemaiah said to him, "Thou must give us also sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice unto Yah." So he said, "Our cattle also shall go with us. There shall not a hoof be left behind. For therefore we must serve Yah. We know not what we must serve Yah until we come there." So that's Shemaiah, or as you know, Moses, right? So now let's go back now. So we know he did that, and so I'm not gonna go beyond him, because the key is to point out that the law didn't start with Moses. Okay, it started with the first man, and it was taught, right, to the sons of Adam and down through Enoch, Methuselah, Noah. Noah taught his three sons, right? and then Shem, right, who taught Abraham, right? We covered that in a previous lesson, all right? So let's go back into the passage. So that first point that he made is a moot point because it's not the law of Moses, all right? So previously, we clarified that you saw that we just showed you that the law didn't start with Moses, right? Let's continue.